What up, guys? Jason Geiman here. So, with PressureWashHelp.com, man, my computer is backwards, and I'm going to change that because it's aggravating me. We're going to turn it off mirror. There we go. So that way when I'm looking at you, it looks like I'm actually looking at you versus looking on the side of the screen. So, today, I want to talk a little bit about how somebody has grown a $500,000 business doing gutter cleanouts, and how you can add this as an awesome service. This really can be a great service for you. This can be a service that can help you generate a lot of money. Now, if you don't want to do it all year long, it's a great service that we can do in the spring and fall to help generate money when maybe we're getting in transition from pressure washing to Christmas lights or just to wintertime. You know, you don't even have to do Christmas lights, but it is a good transition to be able to grow your business and be successful. And so that is what I want to talk about today, and that's what we're going to talk about. And because, you know, I did gutter cleaning, and it was a great service. You know, I didn't push it a lot in October, which October is the time that the leaves start falling. And the reason why I didn't push it is because a lot of times that's when we were actually starting to push up Christmas lights. But when I did push Christmas lights or gutter cleaning was after my Christmas lights a lot of times. So I would push them as long as good old winter didn't come along. I would push gutter cleaning in that December area and hit, 3-4 weeks of gutter cleaning in December, as long as we were in that transition of doing that. And so Donovan has set up a great system to be able to go out there and clean gutters and set up a system to be able to do $1,500 a day with 2 trucks. And tonight, that's what we're going to talk about, of how you can grow a gutter cleaning business. We'll ask questions of, roof safety and the how-to part of it, but also that's the easy part of it. The nuts and bolts is the easy part of it. We'll also talk about the marketing side of it, of how he gets that $1,500 or $3,000 a day, because he runs 2 trucks, $3,000 a day booked every day, so that way he can keep going and all that kind of stuff. Hey Jason, did you have your class in Cleveland yet? I want to sign up. I did, and we will have another class, and we'll talk about that in a little while. But I can put it up there for you so you can see the date, and I do have a link in there. But so with that said, Donovan, let's talk about the nuts and bolts, because everybody loves to talk about the nuts and bolts.
Right.
First off, how did you get started doing a gutter cleaning business?
I got started right around 2007, 2008 when the recession hit. I actually grew up in an entrepreneurial family. My father always had a window cleaning business, and that he has more degrees than a thermometer, and that's how he put himself through college. He always had a window cleaning business. He is a self-taught history. He has a history major, mathematics. He's a nerd, right? But he's self-taught computer programmer. So even when he had a job, he always had a business outside of that, specifically a service-based, specifically window cleaning. So just growing up, he kind of taught me about business, and I saw where he got laid off from a job, but he could always fall back and earn his income with window cleaning. So that's what I knew. About the time I got interested in women, find out you got to have a little bit of money. So in high school, I started doing window cleaning. And 2007, 2008, people aren't paying $400, $500, $600, $700 to have their windows cleaned, every couple of months. So we started doing gutter cleaning because I saw it as a need that everybody has to have your gutters cleaned. If you don't clean the gutters, they're literally going to fall off the house and cause $20,000, $30,000 worth of damage.
And so that's a good selling point of going down a little bit further. But, window cleaning, not everybody needs their windows cleaned, right? But everybody has to have their gutters cleaned. Because what are some other failures if you do not clean your gutters out?
Well, there's some immediate things there's some things that people aren't really aware of. So initially, if you don't have your gutters cleaned, they're going to get clogged up. All your roof grit, all the tennis balls, everything is going to go into the gutters. It's going to clog up the downspout. Water's going to overflow. That's going to lead to foundation issues. That's going to lead to wood rot on the siding. If you have a big bay window or something like that, where maybe a downspout's aimed right towards that window, you're gonna get water coming into the house with water leaks. Some things that you might not be aware of, or a lot of people aren't aware of, is that if you don't clean your gutters like 2 or 3 times a year, you're going to get rodents in your house and ants and cockroaches and stuff like that. When we clean gutters, we find yellow jackets nests, we find ant colonies, we find cockroach nests, because it all stays, it's all that decomposing, nasty stuff that they feed on. And then, with the bugs, then you get frogs, and then you get snakes and everything else. So you get a lot of critter problems if you don't clean out your gutters. So, this is a great point too. I'm not trying to shut you off here, but
this is, and somebody had posted it, and you're absolutely right, because this is kind of where I was going to go with you. Was this can cause foundation problems. It can cause basement leaks. It can cause cracking of it. It can cause the walls to push in. And I'm not just saying that to be saying it. I'm literally meaning that this is what it can do. So you could save the homeowner tens of thousands of dollars by going and making sure that these gutters are clean. And so my next question is talking about rodents. Have you ever seen one of those little black creepy things up in the gutters?
Oh, yeah.
And did you fall off the roof at that point?
Well, I mean, you try not to, because you don't make any money if you fall off the roof.
That is true. That is true.
No, we pull snakes out of gutters all the time. I mean, all the time. But, I mean, snakes are one thing, but that's like after a year or two or whatever of deferred maintenance. But you can get ants in the springtime. If you don't clean out your gutters at the end of the springtime when all the seeds are done falling, the ants are going to live in your gutters, and then they're going to come into your house. So I don't care if you spray Terminex or, they go around the perimeter and you still got ants. They're up in your gutters. So that's something that, you can get snakes and raccoon. I mean, and also here's the other thing, squirrels, okay? If you got squirrels in your attic, there's a chance that you probably got gutter guards or you got deferred maintenance on your gutters. They're building a little home right there, and then they feel a little warm breeze. So they're like, I'll just chew into your house. If you keep your gutters cleaned out, you won't get squirrels in the attic. So there's a lot of critter problems, and I'm not just bullshitting. I'm not just BSing everybody. Like, if you keep your gutters clean, it's going to prevent quite a few problems.
And so these are some things that we're going to tell our customers. These are some things that this is how we're going to sell it. We're not, this is, and this isn't just selling it of what I'm going to tell them. This is what I'm going to sell them when I get to, on my website. I'm going to have all this information on the website, all that kind of stuff like that. And we will get to the point of pricing also, but let's get to the point of what is the easiest way to do gutters? Do gutter guards work? Do we need to use the shop vac in the little shop, the $3,000 little shoppy thing? Or what's the best way have you found to do gutters?
The shop vac works great for some people. And I will say this, depending upon what area of the country you're in, the way that you're going to do it's probably going to be a little different. So if you're down in Florida where you got tile roofs, you might not want to hop up on the roof. If you're up north where there's a lot of metal roofs and a lot of snow and ice and stuff like that, you might do it differently. But I think for a majority of the country, it's easy to go ahead, get a ladder, do it from the ladder, or hop up on the roof like we do. We do 98% of our jobs by putting the ladder in one place on the house, efficiently and safely walking around the roof. You tie off, you do it all the right way. And we can get a job done in 15, 20 minutes. We can get a 3, 4, 5, 6,000 square foot house done and pretty quickly, safely, and very efficiently.
And even if you don't like getting up on the roofs, what I always did and what I always train my guys is you always go up at the downspout. Don't ever go up in the middle of the roof. Don't go up at the downspout, because you know how many times I went up on and went up there, picked one ball out of the thing or something like that, and you're like, now, do you charge for that, or do you just be like, ma'am, here's your ball back that's been making your thing go overflowing?
Charge, absolutely. Yeah. Charge. I mean, you just saved them $10,000. It's worth, in water damage. It's worth, $150, $200 to have their gutters cleaned. It's absolutely worth it to them.
Yeah, I would always go and be like, here's here's my little bag of stuff. And because that's why I always go up at the downspouts. A lot of people don't know that little trick, but you can go up on the downspouts and put the ladder two different places. Hit this downspout, hit that downspout, and you get both. You can see down this side, you can see down that side, and guess what? You know, oh, there's some debris down there, or nope, there's not. We can move on.
And here's another tip before we roll past this. If you don't like getting on the roof, there's a tool. It's called the gutter tool. That's what it's called. You put it on a 15-foot pole. You can put the ladder at your downspout. You get 15, 20 feet that way, 15, 20 feet that way, and you can literally clean 30 feet of gutters by placing the ladder one time. It takes a little bit of work. You know, it's not as quick as scooping it out because you got to finagle a pole, but there are ways to do it, and there's a million different tips and tricks on how to, do gutters well, do them fast, and do them safe. It's definitely something that can be done. And, you know, you could always buy the shop vac or sky vac or whatever and pay $3,000-4,000 and you just pick and choose. You cherry pick your jobs. There are a few houses that you could just do it with the sky vac if you don't like getting on a roof. So that's definitely an option. It's just something that we found where we can do a job in 20 minutes, 30 minutes at most. With the sky vac, it'll take 2 to 3 hours.
So let's go back to a little bit. So we talked about that. So you started out right out of high school doing this as a part-time, making money so you can have some female friends and doing all that good stuff. And then when did you really be like, did you go to college or did you actually skip college? So you skipped college and you're still making very good money now. When did you realize that, hey, I can make a living doing this? I can make more. I know you said your dad's an entrepreneur, and whenever you have an entrepreneur dad spirit, that kind of thing helps out a lot because you can see things that a lot of people, you're not getting taught that, hey, you got to have a 9-to-5 job with good insurance and your stable retirement. That all that is a bunch of crap at the end of the day, because how many people have lost their jobs right now because of COVID and thought they were in a safe place of that, or something happened, you did something stupid, now you lost your job, and so you never know what that safe thing is. And so as an entrepreneur, we kind of think a little different. We think of, instead of, oh, I got to go to my 9-to-5 job and I'm going to get my steady paycheck, we're like, what can we do to make more money? What can I do as a service to get higher? And so when was that transition of hey, I can make a living doing this stuff?
Well, I've never had a job. Okay. I mean, I always had my business, and that produced all my income. And so I could go, if I want to get a job training horses or something like that, I'd go and do that. So it's always paid the bills. Okay. And it did that from day one. I was talking to a guy, that he subs out work from a big gutter guard company, and I just gave him some basic tips. Okay. And he started making 10 grand a week. And he did that like that, okay? Now, he has more things in place, so that's not going to be everybody. But it is something that you can start doing right away, and it's easy to get clients. That's the point that I'm making. For me personally, I'm going to be transparent. I've been doing this for 15 years, okay? I dicked around for the first 5 years. Then I got employees, and I got it to the point where I could just plateau and I didn't have to go do anything. And I coasted until 2 years ago. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I mean, 2 years ago is when I really started looking at my business again, because it paid all the bills and I didn't have to work, okay? Yep. For 10 years, it paid all the bills. I didn't have to work. I go do what I want. 2 years ago, I looked at my business and I said, if I really want to grow this thing, what am I going to have to change? And that's when I got on some of the Facebook forums. That's when I started getting some training. Jason, you've helped quite a bit. And I'm like, okay, I need to raise my pricing. I need to put some safety procedures in place. I need to train good quality people. I need to put some business systems in place. I need to get software to run my business. So I'm just going to be on, 2 years ago, I really started doubling down and trying to grow my business. It took a year of me figuring stuff out. And this past year, I mean, give it 12 months. Give it maybe the last year and a half. Give it 18 months, okay? The past 18 months, my business has just launched. It has skyrocketed. So I've really only been working towards growing my business for about 18 months.
And so that was probably a hard transition from going from that, I'm just going to coast, to I'm going to get my business to the next level. And a lot of times this is at the point of, I'm going to take my business to the next level of, I want to get off the truck. I don't want to be on the truck all the time. I want to find good employees. I want to be able to get to the next level. I want to live comfortably. I want to make, I want to make enough money that I can live comfortable, that I can have financial freedom, I can have time freedom, everything that comes along with those things. And so that is a good point of, it is hard to get to that next level. And a lot of times we will start and grow our business and we'll get success and we'll have success, but then we kind of hit this plateau of, you know what, I'm comfortable here. I don't want to move up and I don't want to go down. The problem of it is your business is either growing or it's dying. There is no in between. You're either growing or you're dying. One of the two. You can't have both. You can't have, there's not just this, I'm going to get my business right here and I'm going to cruise across here. That's not going to happen, guys. That you're at this point, you're going to start going like this, because what happens is we get in mindsets, we get into, I just can't get no customers. I don't know what, I can't get no customers.
It's going to be a job, or it's going to be a hobby. It's not going to be a business. You can coast and it should be a hobby. You can go work a full-time job and do this on the weekends, or do 1 or 2 jobs after work or something like that and make great money. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to start a business and you want it to produce $1,500 a day without you having to be there, you gotta work on it. And I was lazy for a long time, and somebody, I don't know who, lit a fire under me, and it's been really, really, really profitable, and it's really opened my eyes as to what a small little service that a lot of people think that it's an add-on, what it can actually do. And if you do the math, right, that's $30,000 a month, and if you take 2 months off, that's $3,000 a year, $300,000 a year for a 2-man crew, and we got a couple of those crews running around, so it's a good little moneymaker.
That's awesome. I love when you start talking like that, because that is true. It really is. And, you can add other services, like something like, I don't know, like pressure washing, or you can add something like, I don't know, since you're not, you can add Christmas lights. Both of those are great services to add. And so, these are some things that we can do to make it up and to be able to get to that way. And the great thing about gutter cleaning is you don't have a lot of overhead. It's not like pressure washing where you got to go buy, you can have 10. There's people out there who spend $30,000, $40,000 rigs. Yeah. How much do you need what tools do you need to have a good gutter cleaning business?
It would be preferable if you had a truck. I started with the Dodge Neon, which is a little tiny sedan. So a truck with a ladder rack, a ladder, a bucket, a leaf blower, and a pair of gloves.
Pretty simple.
Couple $100 if you got a vehicle, couple $100, and you're in business.
And so let's talk about safety on the safety side of things. Is there any so when we're on a roof, obviously we want to make sure we're safe. When we're climbing up and down the ladder, we want to make sure we're safe. But what are some good things we have some roof safety stuff?
Budget, I'm going to be honest with you. Budget's going to play your biggest factor in your safety gear, okay? How much money do you have to spend? So I'm going to start with how I would buy things in order, and I'm going to tell you a little bit relatively priced. I'm not a down to the cent type guy. My brain doesn't work that way. Cougar paw boots. Cougar paw boots are basically like couch cushions on your shoes, and they just Velcro your feet to the roof. You got to learn, there's some tips and tricks on how to actually walk with them so that the pads stay on the boots. But once you learn that, Cougar paw boots are going to be high safety, okay? The second thing I use, it's called nitrile coated gloves. They're not the mechanic like latex looking ones. They're nitrile dipped, but they're cloth gloves, okay? And when they're brand new, they are basically cougar paws for your hands, okay? So you get those and you can get 4 points of contact, safely scooping out debris, or when you're up on the roof, you can safely hold on to things. That's going to be your cheapest, couple $100, basic stuff. And I recommend, if you're going to get on a roof, you should be able to get on a roof with just those and be perfectly safe. If you can't do it with just that, don't get on a roof. All right, that's the way I look at it. All the other safety gear should be backup. It shouldn't be things that you rely on.
And that goes back to make sure you're comfortable on a roof. If you're not comfortable on a roof, don't get on it. You know, even if you got the littlest hesitation, because again, I talked about this, that's called fear. And fear can be good and fear can be bad. You know, fear can be, oh, you can't do this, blah, blah, blah. That's bad fear. Good fear is you're not comfortable up on that roof. Your butt cheeks are just like tight as all get outs before you even get on that roof. And you're like, and you're sitting there doing this. I'm going to say, don't get on that roof, period. I don't care if you got harness, if you got every bit of safety, even if it's a flat roof and you're scared to death, don't do it. Because when you're got that much fear in it, it's going to end up, you're going to fall off or you're going to do something stupid.
Yeah. My advice is always to my new guys, I want you guys to work as safe as possible and only do something that you're used to, but then try to push yourself once a day, once a week, or whatever. So if there's a flat roof, see if you can't put 1 foot on it and put your weight onto the roof while still holding on to the ladder, okay? See if you can do it. Start with a 1-story, start with a flat roof, and just steadily build up your confidence, okay? The Cougar Paws and the Nitro Gloves are going to help with that because it's like a couch cushion. But if you have to, that's what all the roofers do, okay? They use an upholstery cushion. Put that up there and put your butt on it. If that's what you got to do until you're comfortable moving around. The next safety thing, a couple of things when you're on a roof. Roofs have a shed roof, it's like that, and then sometimes they have a valley. Anytime if there's a valley, walk up the valley. That's where you're going to be the safest. That's where you get the most traction. Safety concerns are getting up onto the roof, okay? So you need to have your ladder. It needs to have a stabilizing arm bar at the top of the ladder. And then that will secure your ladder from moving when you're getting on and off. If you have a goat hook, that's $25 for that stabilizer, 25 to 50, depending upon where you buy it. If you have a goat hook, you can roll that up the roof, hook onto the ridge, and get up to the top. That's going to be $400, $500, $700, depending upon which one you buy. Then we use it's called a Ridge Pro. You put it on the very peak of the roof. It sits there, and you're supposed to screw it into the roof, and then you can tie off. I'll tell you from experience, it works just fine. If the pitch is more steep, if it's like this, it doesn't work very well. If it's like this, it works great. You can use that, a harness, tie off. And so, yeah, that's the basic safety gear that we use. Obviously, there's a lot of how-tos and how to actually use it safely.
And there's other things out there that you can do. There's some other systems that you can take, and they have a little rock, like a little string, and you can throw it over the roof, pull your regular rope over, tie off to a tree on both sides, tie it off to your ladder and hold your ladder. You can tie off into it. That's a safety. That is a OSHA approved one. If you, like he said, if you take the Ridge Pro, you can bolt it in. That's actually considered an anchor. The goat is not considered an anchor, and it is not. It is considered. There is a period that you are
off device.
There is a period that you are allowed on the roof for like 15 minutes to basically get that anchor set, and that is where the goat comes into play. Again, I'm going to tell you, if you don't feel comfortable, don't go up there. Tie off if you can, or don't go up there. And that's where because I've had a guy fall off not too long ago because he got up on there and did something with some sodium used something that was really slip up there, and he slid right off of it. And so this is some things that you got to happen, and ladder safety. We want to be at 75 degrees. We want to be 3 rungs above the roof. All these things help us to make sure that we stay safe, and I'm not coming to a funeral because you did something stupid, or your family's coming to a funeral because you did something stupid. And a lot of it does have to come down with common sense. I always say, and it's not the best, but have a fall plan. Look where you're going. See where pipes are. See where the chimney is. See where the valley is. And if you have to, when you start coming down, you go to those areas so that you can catch on. See where the gutter is. The gutter is the last thing. Well, I don't want the gutter to fall off. Well, would you rather be hang dropping or coming off and hitting your head because you were coming down the wrong way? So, use common sense up there. Don't be stupid. Don't do stupid things. Don't get to the point of, it's just that one more area, because, it can hurt you. Even if you use a fall system, a fall arrest system and stuff like that, and you're only one story up and you have that tether on you that goes, there's a good chance you're probably still going to hit the ground with the tether, because time that thing breaks loose, it can be anywhere from 12 to 16 feet. Time all your other stuff tightens up, and guess what? 12 to 16 feet, you're on the ground upside down. And so that's not a good spot to be at. All right, so how do we get all these jobs? How do we be able to get enough jobs to keep us at that $1,500 a day?
Use all of the things that Jason has been telling you. If you guys aren't doing it yet, I don't know what it's going to take to sink in, but it's nothing new. Okay. But here's the cool thing about gutter cleaning. It's easier to get clients than it is for $1,500 power washing. Okay. It's a $100 sale. It's a $200 sale. Everybody has $100 in their wallet. Okay. And so the nice thing is that it's easy to get. I preach on my videos and stuff like that, 1,000 new clients your first year in business. And you do that by getting clients when it's easy to get clients. If it's raining, you can take a picture of gutters overflowing, put it on Facebook, share it to a few groups, and you'll get 20, 30, 40, 50 calls that day. Guess what? Those are also Christmas light clients. Those are also pressure washing clients. You can turn that $100 gutter cleaning into a $700 gutter cleaning by doing different add-on services like gutter brightening and bagging the debris and doing a water flood. Like, you can really tack on quite a bit. So I know we're going to talk about that later in our training. I don't want to get into that too much right now. But you get these by the basic things. The nice thing about gutter cleaning is that it's easier, okay? What I found that is not good is paid Google ads just for gutter cleaning, because that job is only $100, $200. Unless you're doing a lot of upsells and you're really good at upsells, you're going to be spending 30, 40, 50 bucks acquiring a paid Google ad gutter clean. That's just been my experience.
Well, and the reason why that is here's the reason why that is, because there's this company that has, they're trying to sell a $7,000 gutter shield or gutter helmet, and they're willing to pay $100, $200 for that lead to get a $7,000, $10,000 gutter helmets. And so that's why gutter cleaning leads on Google are not cheap. I did run ads, and I was like, damn, why are these leads like $25 a click? I'm like, it takes 2-3 clicks to get a lead. That's $7,500. It's like, why? And then my brain started thinking is because of that.
For gutter cleaning, the Google guaranteed, gutter cleaning is a Google guaranteed service. So that will get your costs down, but that's only for certain areas, and that's a relatively new feature. But Facebook yard signs, when you go do a job, do a 10 around, get some magnetic business cards. If you're a one-man show, get some magnetic business cards, drive on the wrong side of the road, and when you're leaving the neighborhood, just pop them on the front of the mailboxes. So you can do that. You can knock on doors, make your post on Facebook, make your post on Nextdoor. We could spend all night just talking about any one of those. But my thing is that you should be able to get 1,000 new clients your first year in business, no big deal. The guys that I've done it, and they fought me every step of the way, I'm like, hey, don't spend all day putting out magnetic business cards. Put a yard sign out. Do 100, maybe 100 at most cards in a day while you're doing other. They fought me every step of the way. They still got 700 new clients their first year.
And so that's a good thing, because gutter cleaning or gutters or signs is, I got a lot of my stuff from signs, and I love signs. Signs are a great thing, and I put them out everywhere. And people will be like, where do you put them out at? I put them in the customers' yards. I put them in high areas, wherever the most traffic is. I want tens of thousands of people to see my sign every day. And you think, oh, you're crazy, there ain't that many people. If you have a 4-lane highway, two going one way and the other way, there could be 10, 20,000 vehicles going by that every day. And so I always put them by the stop sign. We want a big service. Gutter cleaning, not gutter cleaning, pressure washing, Christmas lights. We do all these other services. No, we want one big gutter cleaning, and we want one big phone number. And that is what we want on that yard sign, because that is what the service is. They don't care who you are. They don't, they're probably going to take a picture of it. Most people take a picture of it, and then they call you later on, and that's how it works.
And I will say, for my area, Nextdoor is really good. I get 40% of my business from people recommending me on Nextdoor. I got, a couple hundred or 150, something like that, recommendations on there. So I'm the highest rated there. And then the other thing is, when you complete a job, your job is not over until that customer leaves you a review. I don't care if it's on Facebook, Google, Nextdoor, Yelp, Bing, I don't care. But your job is not completed until they leave you a review. That means you got to text them, call them, follow-up email, hey, would you leave me a review? And send them that link.
Yep.
If you're not good at that, which I'm not, I pay for a service to do that. You got Nice Jobs, which is $75 a month, and you got Broadly, which is $275 a month. But there's a little bit more involved there. So don't consider your job done until you get a review, and that's where we get all of our stuff. Make sure your Google My Business is fully filled out, and that's going to help you with more than just gutter clean. But every single service you do, fill it out. Do gutter cleaning Raleigh, gutter cleaning Wake Forest, gutter cleaning, and your services, just fully fill it out. Jason taught me to get 100+ photos on Google My Business. I started doing that, and lo and behold, people started calling me. So, all the stuff that Jason's been saying, do it. Just do it.
And that's and even a lot of people might just think, I'm going to go do this gutter clean out. There's before, there's after pictures, there's doing pictures, there's pictures of your crew, there's pictures of you showing the crap in there. And guess what? Those are all photos for our Google My Business that he's talking about, and that will help us out. And when we do those before and after pictures and we show them to our customers, we can show them there's services out there we can show before and afters. And guess what? Hey, when you give us a 5-star review, this is what we do for you. We can help those people sit there and help them out even more. And so that is the important part of that. So Google My Business is a great way to get business, definitely doing gutter cleaning.
Jason, should I talk about my reoccurring plan? Because that's a little different than what other folks are doing. Do you want to talk about that right now? Or? Yeah,
I was just getting ready to talk about pricing and, all that kind of stuff. So that's part of pricing. So let's talk about that.
Okay. So, when you power wash a house, you're not, at least for me, I don't know. I'm not coming out there 3 or 4 times a year power washing a house. But for gutter cleaning, absolutely in my area, I got some people, we go out there every 2 weeks starting now till February, and people pay it. Okay. So gutter clean, not everybody's going to do that, but I had some clients, I looked at my numbers, and I use a CRM system called Jobber. There's other ones out there that are similar. I love Jobber, but I went in there and I was looking at my clients that I hadn't done work for in a year, and I generated a report, and I looked at all of them, and I had some clients that hadn't done work for in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. And I go back in there and I called them all. We spent months, like straight months. All my office ladies just called every single person. And so we signed them up for a gutter clean. And then we're hitting them with, you pay for the very first visit, and then you pay a monthly, and how many ever gutter cleans you want, 2, 3, 4, 5 times a year. You just pay monthly, and you get priority booking. And you get, also, we're going to lock in your price for the next 2 years because we raise our pricing every year. So they're paying monthly. So here in 3 months, when they need another gutter cleaning, it's already paid for. So I had clients that hadn't had their gutters cleaned in 2 years, and now they're prepaying for having their gutters cleaned 2, 3, 4 times a year. And previously they hadn't had it done in 2 years just because they didn't think about it.
And that's the beauty of that kind of stuff, is it's a great membership or membership thing, because at this point it's guaranteed revenue coming in every month. And so the good thing about that is if you get it up high enough, maybe you're bringing in $10,000, $15,000 a month. Every month it's just coming in. Yeah, it's smaller payments, but it's coming in. And what that allows you to do is you don't, that could pay for all your employees, all that kind of stuff.
Yep. So we don't have to ever give discounts because our monthly bills are paid for already. And that means all of our one-off jobs, like our one-off, power wash and our one-off window clean, our one-off gutter cleanings, that's basically straight profit. And certain times of the year, yeah, we got to block off time depending upon how many people are reoccurring. But that's how we do it. That's a service that we're pushing, and that's been really unique. I mean, as far as how do you price gutter cleaning, $1 to $3 a foot, depending upon your area, depending upon how fast you can do it, depending upon the number of stories. We personally have 3 factors. The first thing we do is we develop a base price. The base price for any location is going to be how far they are from the office. So, our minimum, y'all are going to beat me up on this. It's coming. So I'm getting ready in the comment section. Our minimum is only $75. Okay. Now, $75 is a 1-story, like 900 square foot house that's a minute away from the office. That's like $75. It takes us 5 minutes from the time we pull in the driveway till we leave. Okay, so that I want folks to keep in mind. And also, it looks real sexy on a yard sign, gutter cleaning, starting at 75, phone number. That's called a call to action. Okay, now, even with my Christmas light business, my minimum price advertised is $500. My average ticket is $1,700, $1,800, but my advertised minimum gets them to call me. So I hope folks understand that, okay? That doesn't mean I'm charging everybody $75. That's just our minimum. So location, how far you are away from the office, that's going to come up with base price, or number of stories, whichever's higher. So 1 story is 75, 2 stories, 100, 3 stories, 150. So whichever is higher, if you're real close to the office and 3 stories, it's still going to be a base of 150. And then the size of your home, it's going to go with every 500 square feet, we're bumping it $25.
Gotcha. Awesome. So that's a good way to look at it. And what is your average? I know you probably know this. What is your average overall customer paying at the end of the day?
Well, I can't tell you what it is now because we just started upselling. We just started doing a lot of upsells where we weren't doing that before.
So what are you upselling from gutter cleaning?
Our base package is we show up, we clean the gutters, we throw it in a pile on the ground, we pick it up, put it in a trash can, move it to a natural area, and dump it in the natural area. We blow off any decks, and we leave. That's our base package. Upsells are bucketing the debris. It doesn't hit the ground. That's an upsell. That's quite a bit. That's a couple $100.
I love that.
It adds time. Perfect ground cleanup. Our base package is a 90% ground cleanup, which means when Miss Betsy, who doesn't have anything better to do, when Karen, who doesn't have anything better to do, calls me and says, you left these 3 leaves, I say, you didn't select perfect ground cleanup, Karen. That's part of the package. I'm happy to come back out, but you're going to have to pay that upsell. So perfect ground cleanup, bucketing the debris, water flush. Air flushing is included with our base package. Air flushing is a leaf blower, blowing shit everywhere. That's called an air flush, okay? A water flush, which does absolutely nothing. Water flush does absolutely nothing. I'll argue with everybody in the comments for as long as they want. It does absolutely nothing because if you clean out the debris, next time it rains, that little tiny speck is going to get washed out on its own if you've done your job.
Right.
But the people who want it washed out by water, I'm happy to do that for a couple $100.
And they're great pictures before and after.
Well, I mean, if I'm going to take a before and after picture, I'm going to wash that section for the picture, but the whole rest of their house, I ain't going to do it. And, underneath gutter guards, we're not going to touch guards unless you're paying us. And I'm talking $200, $300, $400, $500, $600, $700, $800 to take up a guard. I'm going to charge you to throw it away as well. And I'm going to charge you double or triple to put it back. So if you want me to mess with gutter guards, your price is going up.
I hate gutter guards.
If we're just flushing out underneath them, we use our pressure washing, our jetter attachment to the pressure washer, and I can put that jetter on one end, like in a corner, like you're saying, and I can jet that whole stretch, and I can jet that whole stretch, and it flushes out underneath the guards. So that's a $225 minimum. And then scrubbing the face of the gutter is another $225 minimum. So you guys can see how it's real easy to get a $100, gutter cleaning that's, would be a 10-minute job and turn it into $700, $800.
Right. And that's awesome. So that gets us, again, that's like, haven't I ever said something about packages and stuff like that? Packages takes us from our $75 gutter cleaning to makes that $100 and $200, $300. Or it could take that $200 gutter cleaning and turn it into a $500 gutter cleaning. all because we put it in a package, and they're like, ooh, I'm that type of person that I'm a premium person. I have to have a premium product.
Yep. You know, that's where I got the water flush idea from you, because you sold hot water house wrenches or whatever, which does nothing. And I'm just like, well, washing the gutters doesn't do anything, but people ask for it. This is my sales pitch. It does absolutely nothing, and I'm happy to do that for $150. And people say, okay.
Right. So this is a good question. Do you inspect gutters for a new client before bid, or do you just look off the pitch, downspout problems, loose nails and hangers, all that kind of stuff based on that?
I'm going to get paid to do an inspection. Hey, I got this problem. My gutter's leaking from here. I say, hey, it sounds like you need to have them cleaned. Let's go ahead and get that on the books, and while I'm out there, I'll check it out.
And have you added gutter guards to actually add gutter guards, or you just go for the gutters of, we're going to sell them? We're not selling gutter guards, we're just selling gutter cleaning.
I'll do it, especially if they've already purchased them and they're going to pay somebody to do it. They might as well pay me. But again, my sales pitch is they're completely useless. I'll install them for this much, and in 6 months you can pay me to take them off and throw them away. That's my sales pitch, and people pay me to do it at times. But I just, in my area, and I want to acknowledge that different areas of the country have different factors, right? And gutter guards work better in different areas. In my area, I got 37,000 different species of trees that are dropping every size bit of seed and pollen and leaf year round. So if one thing doesn't work, or if a gutter guard's good against one thing, it's not, there's going to be something else to mess it up. That's just my area.
All right, so I'm going to hit this one pretty hard here because I love this right here. Just be honest with your clients and don't be greedy. What is greedy? First off, what is greedy? Because you are not your customer. I am not my customer. Donovan is not his customer. In fact, when you think, oh, I would never charge $300 to clean somebody's gutter, and that person that you're going to thinks, $300, I've got all these other bids. I don't want to get on a roof. Falling off a roof, I'm going to lose thousands of dollars an hour. I'll pay people thousands of dollars to clean my gutters. You got to get that out of your mindset. And if you think that you're being greedy or you're charging too much, you are not your customer. I want everybody to say that to themselves. I am not my customer. You know what? Because I can about guarantee you that you probably don't live in a $300, $400, $500 million house. So you are not your customer. What do you think about that?
I'll add on to that, okay? I'm going to be transparent with you guys again. Back in 2007, here was my genius marketing strategy. Every home that's one story will be $30. Every home that's two story will be $40. All right? If you want me to blow off the roof, I'll do it for $10. That was my genius marketing strategy. And my thinking was, even at those prices, the do-it-yourselfers will hire me. And guess what? They did. But you know what? I also had people complaining about the pricing at $35. I mean, I had people be like, I paid the neighborhood kid $25 to clean their section of gutter. And so it doesn't matter what you charge. There's going to be people who think that you're charging too much. And there's also going to be people who have paid 10 times that much for the same service who will never hire you because they're afraid that you're going to jack up their house, get hurt, and sue them.
You probably don't have insurance. You don't have business, all the other stuff that goes along with it.
I mean, even at a couple $100, I got people who tell me, wow, I've been paying $300, and I'm just like,
I should have been $299.
They're like, you got to call this guy because he has great pricing. Every time I see that on a review, I'm like, I'm raising my pricing. Like I keep doing it. But seriously, my uncle, Lauren, my wife's uncle, okay, they have a lot of money. They pay $800 to have their gutters cleaned on like a 3,000 square foot house. And I'm just talking cleaning the gutters. I don't have it in me to charge $800 on a 3,000 square foot. I can't do that. I can't do that. I would be 150, 200 bucks or whatever. I don't have it in me to charge 800. But he also would never hire me. He would never hire me because he's used to paying 800. So for everybody talking about pricing and this and that, nobody's going to like your pricing. You need to know your business numbers. You need to know your margins. And like what I did 18 months ago, you need to really look at your business and say, do I want to keep doing what I'm doing, or do I want to grow my business? If I want to grow my business, what do my numbers need to be? Those are your numbers. Don't let the tail wag the dog, okay? The dog should wag the tail. Customers don't dictate how you run your business. You do. So...
All right, and so if you want to learn how to have an amazing business, I am going, and somebody asked where Donovan is, and Donovan is in Raleigh, North Carolina. And we are actually going to do a training in October. You can go check out training dates. You can go check it out. And one day, the first day, October 17th, we're going to be talking about pressure washing and gutter cleaning. And we're also going to have a lift that day, so we're going to do lift training. So on Saturday, we're going to do everything about pressure washing. There is a pressure washing store that is close by that we're going to use some of their equipment, some of Donovan's equipment. And when we're talking about when I teach pressure washing, I know at the Huge we couldn't do, everybody gets to do that. In this training, you get to touch things, you get to shoot water, you get to do everything in my training courses. And then on Sunday, we're going to do Christmas lights, and we're also going to do ladder safety and all that kind of stuff that day with the lift. And so we're going to go in detail how to get on roofs, how to clean gutters, how to price gutters, go into more of the nuts and bolts than what we just did here. And so that you will not want to miss out. And like I say, we will cap it. I'm probably going to cap it. I think we can do 20 people. Might be a lot for both of us, but we're probably going to cap it at 20, so that way everybody gets the hands-on. Because even at Washathon, that's probably the only complaint is they didn't get the hands-on stuff. And when we got 50 people, it's kind of hard to do hands-on. I'm sorry, But in the lift training, he's actually got a lift. You got the 35. Are you getting a 35 or 50-foot pull behind?
I have a 35. I'll tell you what happened with my 55 when we get off the video. But okay. I want my 35 there.
So you'll have a 35-foot lift. I know people that never use the lift. By the time we're done with this training, you will know how to use the lift. You will know how to do the pre-inspection, how to make sure that it's ready to go. You don't have leaks. And if you're afraid of heights, or you'll be able to go up in the lift. Where we have two instructors, Donovan can be kind of over that. We're going to split up into different stations, so that way you can make sure that way we can have that happen. And it is going to be in Raleigh, North Carolina. And when we're doing the Christmas light side of things, we're actually going to an HOA. And so a lot of times I have a problem with this is you don't always get to do your whole tree. So Donovan's got enough trees that everybody gets a tree. And guess what? I'll go buy, you probably got some. If not, I'll buy some more. Good Mr. Long Arms, because everybody hates Mr. Long Arm by the time you're done. And so you get to work the pole however you want to work the pole.
The extension pole.
Oh, the extension pole. I thought it was going to be a nice chrome pole or something.
Quit doing this.
So you get to work the pole, or you will learn, I will teach you how to use the pole correctly so it don't work you. So a lot of people want to take their hands and they're going to sit there and try to work the pole. And if you got a fat belly, it even works better because it'll sit right there, and all I got to do is just use that pole, and it's no problem. If you don't have a fat belly, you got a nice belt, usually it'll sit right in your belt, and then you don't even have to, you don't work the pole. And so you will get to install lights on the whole tree. We're going to install lights on a building, the whole 9 yards. And so it will definitely. Yeah. And so talking about poles and working poles, Gregory sent me some video. And if you send me a couple $20, $30, I can show you of him blowing some hoses and working the pole. So, that's even better right there. So Greg Townsend is an awesome dude. I love him to death. And he sent me a video of trying to see if his check valves are working. So,
hey, Jason, let me say something real quick. When we're doing anything on a roof, I mean, I think even most pressure washing guys at some point have gotten up on a roof or gotten up on a ladder. I went 10 years without any safety equipment, and I could have died every single day doing this. So something that we've really been pushing these last 18 months is safely doing it.
Yes.
And we're still able to safely work on a roof, right, and get these jobs done quickly. But the safety equipment is a couple $1,000 per truck. So I put out my videos, and a lot of your guys have come over and seen some of my videos on how to work on a roof and stuff like that. And they go and they buy the safety equipment, and it's a couple $1,000, and they don't even know because they haven't tested it out. They're spending a couple $1,000 and hoping that it's going to work for them. So one of the cool benefits, and I know you mentioned it, is that when you come to the class, you're going to get to you're going to get to use all this safety stuff and try it out and see it working, and before you buy it. So you could save a couple $1,000 by not buying something that doesn't work for you.
And what you will also find out too, and I see this, I got this after review after review after review of, I was going to buy this, now I'm going to buy this. And so when I teach pressure washing, I don't just teach one way. I teach downstreaming, I teach soft washing, I teach X-jetting, I teach a dedicated system. And the reason why I teach all those, and you get to use each individual one of those, then you can see, I was going to do this, but downstreaming is way easier. I was going to X-jet, but downstream is a lot easier. And so that is why I do this is so that way you will save money in the long run. And so Dan up here put a question, or Dan said something up here, Jason, he got to see, and that's the thing. When I teach this stuff, when I show you all that kind of stuff, I make it look easy. You wouldn't believe how easy it is when I do it. But when you get to do it, it's like, oh, Jason makes this stuff look easy. And so that's why I like for you to do it. So, for instance, some of the guys that were at Washathon stayed over on Saturday. And so I was kind of going through some of my stuff on Saturday night, and I had a group of guys. And just simple things. I had a guy that's made $100,000 this year, a great dude from Elkhart, Indiana, Brian Williams, did $100,000 this year, and he didn't know how, and he's a shop teacher, and he never had taken the pick and gotten the O-ring out and did that. So guess what? That's a skill that everybody gets to do. I have the pick, I have the coupler, and in that way you can see how it works and how to do it and what you need to do to make that happen. And so that is why I do. That's how I do my training. That's how I do everything there. So you definitely don't want to miss out. It's going to be it'll be good weather down there, because hopefully it's not stupid like up here, and that way you'll be able to do that.
Yeah, it'll be short sleeves and shorts if you guys want that. It doesn't get cold here till about January, so it's really nice. And again, I didn't take your class because I didn't decide to do power washing until the start of springtime this year. I didn't decide to do it in-house, so I've been messaging you and blowing up your phone about putting my rig together. And by me just buying crap and equipment that I don't need, or I decide to not use it afterwards, I mean, I've spent a couple $1,000, and I just got equipment sitting there, a couple $1,000 I've spent this year on stuff that I won't use again because I didn't have the training. So I'm a hard-headed story of what to avoid as well. So when Jason's talking about power washing, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut, and I'll talk when you start talking about gutter cleaning.
Yeah, but you have to do a little bit down there if we have 20 people. So you can't you're going to have to fake it till you make it like we do everything else.
Help with the how, the how to, but I'm not going to be like, this is how you do it, because I'm the expert. I want you to know everything that I say is going to be a mimic of Jason. Thing Jason says.
So the way my class works is I teach 3 different methods, and Benjamin Franklin. Let me look this quote up here because I don't want to screw it up, because it is a great quote. It's one of the quotes that I would highly make. This is the reason why I do what I do, because this quote here is a great quote. it says, let me pull it up here so I can see it. It says right here, tell me and I forget. Teach me and I remember. Involve me and I learn. And so that's why you get to do everything. So the very first thing I do is I'll tell you, we go through PowerPoint, we do all that kind of stuff, and I teach you how to do everything, and I even walk you through the steps. I give you all the check sheets so that way you know all the check sheets that you need to have. And then we go out to the job and I show you. And then by showing you, after I get done showing you, then you get to do it. And so that's the reason why I do it this way, is so that way, because I understand this guy right here is a doing type of person. I have to put it in my hands and I have to do it. If I don't do it, it's harder for me to learn. If I do it, I'll pick it up like that and I can take off and run with it. And what that does is it gets rid of the fear of, should I do this? Should I do that? Guess what? I did a video that's coming out on Friday of, should I do this or should I do that? Do I need this CRM or this CRM? Or do I need 8 gallon, 5 gallon, 4 gallon? All these different things come in our mind. What do we need to do? And at the end of the day, screw it. Do it. Do something. Yep. Something is way better than nothing. Because if you always think, well, this one has this gadget. This one has this gadget. Guess what? At the end of the day, who cares what gadget it is? Go out there, pick one, and try it and do it, and that's how you will learn. And so that's why I do it this way is involve me and I will learn. And so I want at the end of my class, so on that Saturday, we will start with the PowerPoint, going through everything. We'll have lunch for you, and then that afternoon we go out to the job site and you will do it. We're also going to talk about safety, and we're going to have the lift training. And so the reason why that day is going to probably be a little bit longer, normally that day is about an 8-hour day. This time with the lift training and that kind of stuff, and the roof safety and the gutter cleaning, it might go for an 8-10-hour day. We'll try to keep it to 8, but I want to make sure you all know everything by the time it's done. And then on the next day for Christmas lights, again, tell me I forget, teach me I remember, involve me and I learn. And so on that day, we go through PowerPoint. I teach how to price. I teach that in that one. Teach how to do marketing, and we go through all that great stuff. And then we go out there, teach about pricing, and then you get to do it again. You know, we'll get to put up lights on the trees. We'll put lights up on the building, and you learn all that different stuff of how to do it at the end of the day. And so that is the thing to help you start and grow your business and be successful. Yes, you can start and grow your business and be successful. And what is successful? Well, that depends on you. That depends on what makes you successful. You know, what makes Donovan successful versus could be two different things. You know, if I'm at a job making $10, $15 an hour and I'm making $20,000, $30,000 a year, and I can go do pressure washing and make $50,000, I'm successful. But if I'm at a job making $100,000 a year and I need to be able to get something in there, then I need to make $150,000 to be successful. So it depends on what level of success you need to be at. Now, The good thing about this stuff is if you're the little guy, well, I'm going to take that back, because, you know, a lot of times the little guy don't know how to get big, because it's kind of like Donovan said, because he didn't know how to charge, didn't know how to do that kind of stuff. Where a guy making $100,000, and this is what I always say, when you make a lot of money, it's easier to make a lot more money in this side of things, because you don't have that poor mentality of saying, well, I would never pay that. I can't charge that. I wouldn't do that. No, that's not where the guy making $100,000 is like, well, here you go. And guess what? He understands, well, if I put this in the ATM and it puts out twice as much or 3 times, hell, I'm going to keep putting as much in that sucker as I can. And that's how you grow your business. And so that is what gets taught in this here. It is October 17th and 18th in Raleigh, North Carolina. Do you have anything to say?
18th, we're, you know, like Jason said, we're doing the Christmas lights. And I want to be 100% transparent. There are other organizations out there that will charge you $15,000 for an area, a training that I have been told is not half of what we cover, and you get a shiny badge, okay? They charge you 15 grand for that. It's great training. It's worth every penny. We're not charging that much. Jason isn't charging that much, okay? This is going to be my 3rd year, and we're hitting $250,000 in a few weeks for just hanging Christmas lights. So this is my 3rd year. I learned everything from Jason and Fred Zimmerman, okay? But it's Jason. It's Jason who, the training, that's how I'm going to make this $250,000 this year.
So you're going to do 250. What did you end up doing last year?
I did 83.
So you're going to do from 83 to 250. And how many customers do you think that'll be?
100 to 125.
100 to 125 to make $250,000. Who wouldn't want to do that? Again, it's about marketing.
The job that we go to is a $15,000 job.
So the job that we're going to actually be doing, you're going to see that's a $15,000 job starting off right off the get-go. And that's what it's all about, guys. It's not rocket science. You know, I'm going to teach you everything I know in everything that I can give you in my course. That's what I do. It's because at the end of the day, I want you to be successful. Success is, like I say, I don't know what your success is, but my goal is to make you successful. It's not to make, you know, and everybody, the best one I love is we got too much competition. How much competition do you have in Raleigh, North Carolina right now?
For power washing, I have 300 different service providers. For Christmas lights, I have legitimate professional installers, probably 15 in my city alone.
And so, you know, and he's still going to do $250,000.
As a matter of fact, I literally, before I got on the phone with you, I got off the phone with a company who's been doing this for 15 years. And they're going to send me all of their extra business because they can't take on any more jobs. And they've been doing it for 15 years. They can't take on any more jobs this year. And so they're going to send them all to me. So competition, it's not about how much competition is out there. It's not about, you know, how much, you know, they're charging. People are going to charge less than you. People are going to charge more than you. It's about, can you perform at that premium level? And listen, 100 people. That's what's going to do, you know, 250,000. Can you get 100 clients?
And the beautiful thing about Christmas light customers are they are great
for everything else. Did you see that video that I did last week at that brick home?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so we outlined this brick house for Christmas lights. I might be misquoting it, but I believe it was $3,500 to outline his house, his roof line, and Christmas lights. He paid us to do gutter cleaning after that. He paid us to come out and do window cleaning. And then I made that video last week. He paid us to do window cleaning and power washing again for another $1,300. And when I got there, I said, hey, are you going to book Christmas lights again? He's like, oh, yeah, send me the reminder. And then he paid his deposit for Christmas lights again this year.
And so that's the beautiful thing about Christmas lights is the lifetime value of a Christmas light customer is way higher than any other customer that you will get, guarantee it. Because the lifetime value of a Christmas light customer is they will pay, they have money. You know, if they're willing to pay stupid money for Christmas lights, and when I mean stupid money for Christmas lights, $15,000, $2,000, $3,000, $6,000, $10,000 for Christmas lights, they're stupid enough to pay everything else at that point because they have that money to be able to be like, here you go. And you're like, okay, I takey, you know, because that's in my pocket at that point. And so that is the beautiful thing about Christmas lights.
Jason, these guys on here, they know your other Christmas light channel on YouTube, right? Like they understand the difference between like, what when we say Christmas lights, it's like it's professional grade. It's not what homeowners can do themselves, right? They know about. Probably
not. You can go to christmaslightshelp.com/YouTube, and there I go over all that kind of stuff. Also, you can go to I also sell Christmas lights. You can go to christmaslights.io and you can get to some of my there's some of that. I will try to put some links from there to my YouTube channel. I haven't done it yet because I've been working on my podcast. Because remember, I said this past week I'm going to have a podcast. I set a goal and I'm going to do it this week. Well, you know what? It's hard to do things. You know, I've been talking about this podcast for 3 months now in my mind, tiling it a little bit. And guess what? I got it up. Was it easy? Hell no, it wasn't easy. I had to figure out GarageBand. I've never used GarageBand. I had to figure out Buzzsprout, all these different things I had to figure out. But I got it set up. I do have a podcast now. I think if you go to kingofpressurewash.com/podcast, I have 2 episodes up. This episode obviously will be going on there. So my goal is to put these up so that way you can listen to them in driving in the car. I cut a lot of the questions out. All I put in is the meat of the stuff. All right, guys. So go check out pressurewashhelp.com/training. Also in the description, you can go check out Donovan's YouTube channel. I put a link in it to there, so go check out his channel. Go subscribe to his channel, and that way he's got a lot of great information he's been dumping into about gutter cleaning, Christmas lights, all that kind of stuff also. So go check out his channel, and then hopefully we get to see you at Savannah. I don't know where that came from, and Raleigh. And here's one other thing I'm going to do. I'm probably going to stay over one day with Donovan to do some videoing with him, but either on my way down from Cincinnati to Raleigh or on the way back, if you're in that area and I can stop by and do a video, you can go to, I don't remember let me look this up here real quick because this is important. You can go to pressurewashhelp.com/ let me look it up here, guys. I think it's Ride Along.
While he's figuring that out, I just recently put together a Facebook group just for gutter cleaning. So if folks want specific information on that, Jason, I believe I sent you the link, but it's Gutter Cleaning Contractors. It's a Facebook group. And I'm pretty passionate, like Jason, about helping new folks. So that's a group that I post daily on tips about how to get your business to 300 grand. So I know Jason's probably going to start posting on there as well, but you can go there on Facebook, and that's free for anybody to join.
Awesome. And it is Ride Along. You can go to pressurewashhelp.com/ride along, and then, like I say, I'll ride along. So, all right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow night. I will be back on here tomorrow night. I have AC Locker coming on and telling his story, and so I'm kind of excited for that. A little nervous because he is kind of a big dog in the pressure washing world, and so I am excited about that, to have him on my podcast and just to learn more about his story. I'm sure it's an interesting story. I'm sure that he didn't start out where he, at a $4 million company, and so that's what I will get in tomorrow night. So we will be back on here at 9 o'clock tomorrow night. So I hope to see you then.